Have you ever wanted to stop a loop in the middle or skip certain steps while it's running? Python gives you powerful ways to control loops. And today we will learn how. Hello learners, welcome to your learning hub, The Learning Loop. I am Swati Sharma and this is the 30th video of my beginner friendly Python course series. If you are joining me for the first time, thank you for dropping by. And if you haven't checked out my previous videos yet and you are starting out on your Python journey, I will highly recommend you to go back and check those out so that you are all caught up. Before we move forward, if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, please go ahead and press the subscribe button and hit the bell icon so you do not miss out on any future videos. In today's video, we will take loops one step further. We will learn about loop control statements, break, continue, and pass. So, without a further ado, let's dive in. The break statement is used to exit the loop immediately. Let's understand this with an example. I will be showcasing all the examples today in Google Colab, and I will paste the link to this notebook in the description box below. So just in case in future you would like to come back and check the code out, you can go ahead and do that. So let's start with the break statement. So let's say how it behaves, as we have already mentioned that it exits the loop immediately, which means it will stop the loop immediately. Let's take an example. Let's say I want to print the numbers and I say from I in range 1 to 10, because obviously plus 1 as 10 will not be included, so I've written 11. And we know if we do print I, it will go ahead and print all the numbers from 1 to 10, as you can see that. Let's change the logic a little bit. Let's say I say if I is equal to 5, break. Now what that will do is, as soon as the value of I is 5, it will stop the loop and it will not print anything beyond 5. So let's run it, and you can see it only printed the numbers from 1 to 4. So let's understand what happened here. So we can see we started the for loop and the value of I will start from the 1, because the range starts from 1 and goes up till 10. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up till 10, because the last number mentioned will be excluded from this particular loop. So it says if I is equal to 5, break. So let's say the first value that I will take is 1. It is not is equal to 5. So it will skip this whole block and go to print statement and print I, and as you can see it printed I. The same thing happens for 2 and 3 and 4, but as soon as the value of 5 is 5, okay, it goes here and it says, okay, this statement is met, this is true, I is equal to 5, condition is met and is true. So it goes to the next intended line in that if statement, which says break. As soon as it hits that break statement, it exits the loop, and whatever is beyond that, it skips everything. It will not run the remaining iterations as well, which means from 6 to 10 nothing would be printed. It will just get out of the loop. Okay, so that's how the break behaves. Let's take one more example and let's write for, let's say I have a list, say numbers, and I have numbers 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, and I write for loop for num in numbers, and I write if num is equal to 6, print number found, and then just break the loop and do not run beyond that. Okay, and if that's not the case, then print still checking, and we can also print what number was it. The number was, and we just print the number. Let's just run this. I can see it says still checking, the number was 2, still checking, the number was 4, and as soon as it came to 6, it said number found and did not check 8 or 10. It stopped right there, exited the loop, and did not check anything once the number was found, because we use the break statement once if the number 6 is found. So the break means stop everything and come out of a loop. Now let's understand how continue behaves. The continue statement is used to skip the current iteration and move directly to the next iteration. It does not stop the loop, it only skips that one step and the loop continues running as usual. Let's understand this with an example. Let's say I want to print the numbers from 1 to 10 but want to skip printing the number 5. Let's see how we can do that. In order to print the numbers from 1 to 10, I will write a for loop and I will write for I in range, and I'll say 1, 10, 11. The stop value should be 11 because the stop value that we have mentioned here will be excluded, so that should be +1. As we want to print numbers from 1 to 10, so that the stop value should be 11. The next line is intended, which means for all the iterations or all the values of I from 1 to 10, this block of code would run. So I write if, because I want to skip printing 5, I'll say if I is equal to 5, continue. And for all the rest of the values, I'll say print I. Let's quickly run this. And you can see all the numbers from 1 to 10 are printed, but the number 5 is skipped. Let's quickly understand what really happened. So it's pretty straightforward for 1 to 4. As we have learned in our for statement or in a for loops, that it will take the values from 1 to 10 and we'll see whatever action is written and do that. For 1 to 4, it's pretty straightforward to print it. Why? Because the value of I or this if statement is not met. So it will skip this whole block of code and run to the next line and just print it. As soon as the value of I is 5, this if statement is met or this condition is met. So it goes to its next intended line and the action we have given is continue. What continue would do is would skip that step. So as I've given it for 5, it will skip it. It will just, as soon as sees continue, it will skip anything that is written beyond that and will just go to the for loop and start the iteration for I is equal to 6. Anything written after continue would not run. But the loop would not stop. Loop would complete until the end value, that is 10. But for that particular step, the print was missed. Hence, you can use the continue statement when you want to skip certain conditions when we are running the loop. Please note that all the control statements, that is break, continue or pass, run for both the loops, that is for loop and while loop. Now let's understand the pass statement. The pass statement is used as a placeholder in the code. It doesn't do anything, it just lets you run your code without any error. You might be thinking, if it doesn't do anything, why exactly do we need it? In Python, there are certain statements like if, for, while, which are required to have a block of code under that. If you leave them empty, the Python will throw an error. And with pass, you can avoid those errors. Let's understand this with an example. So let me write a code. Let's say I write for I in range 1, 10, and I write if I is equal to 5. And if I doesn't write anything after this if statement and I run it, it will throw me an error saying that it's an incomplete input, right? So let's now refine this particular statement. Let's say I'm just going to copy that, and I write here pass. Okay, and I will write print I run it, and you can see it doesn't do anything. It printed the numbers from 1 to 9, even printed 5, but didn't do anything. However, it avoided that error that we got in the previous code. Even if I do print I here, we will still get an error. Let's do that, and you can see it says indentation because it is expecting something after this if statement and we have not given that. In the second code, as I have written the pass, the code has run without any issues, without any error. And what this pass does is it acted as a placeholder. Let's say in future I want to add some action. Let's say I want to skip it, or I want to do something else, or I want to print anything different. Let's say I want to print it's funny, ting ting. Okay, continue. So I can combine that, and I do this, and you can see instead of 5 it has printed ting ting, right? But for the time being, I have not decided what I want to do when the 5 is there, or I'm just building out the structure and I'm given that, we have a certain conditions that we would like to meet a different ways, but you're not sure what, but you are aware of the conditions. You can just write those condition and write pass, run it, nothing would happen, but you have like a blueprint of your code. And in future you can come back and then write your statement or the block of code of exactly what you would like to do if the I value hits 5. So pass acts as a placeholder in the code where you can, or any developer can come back and can write the exact block of code that needs to be there. Now it's your turn to practice. Write a program to loop through numbers from 1 to 50 and print the very first number, that is divisible by 7, and the number should not be 7, that is divisible by 7, and stop the loop right there. Then I would like you to write a program to print the numbers from 1 to 100 and skip the numbers that are divisible by 3. Pause the video and try it yourself. In the next video, we will understand how for loops behave with different data types like tuples, sets, and dictionaries. If this video helped you understand loop control statements a little better, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, happy coding.